Welcome to today's English session. I am DS Chakravarti, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College for Women, Karimnagar. In this session, we are going to discuss about the conditional clauses in English language. There are several kinds of conditional clauses in English language such as if and unless. In this session, we are going to focus on if conditional clauses. Let's see what are if conditional clauses. Conditional sentences have two parts. Let's first focus on the pattern, then we can discuss what their purpose. As we can see in the slide, there are two parts in any conditional clause. By looking at the name of the clause, that is conditional clause, we can understand that there must be a condition in that sentence. The if clause and the main clause. Usually we have already seen that clauses are of two kinds. One is main clause and the second one is subordinate clause. We can also call them dependent clause and independent clause. In any conditional sentence, we have two parts. The first one is the if clause and the second is the main clause. For instance, we can see one example here. If it rains, I will cancel the trip. Here the comma divides the two clauses. The first one, if it rains. If we take out the if and just look at the sentence, it rains, I will cancel the trip. In the sentence, the comma divides the two clauses. If we look at the second clause, that is, I will cancel the trip, it is the main clause because it is not dependent on any other clauses. That's why we call it the main clause. I will cancel the trip is the main clause, and the first sentence, if it rains, is the subordinate clause, and it can also be called here in this context if clause. So this subordinate clause can also be called if clause. Just get back to the rule that we have learned just now. Conditional sentences have two parts. One is if clause and the second one is main clause. So these conditional sentences express a condition and that is expressed through if. If it rains, only the condition is when it rains, I will cancel the trip. So this is the best example for a if conditional clause. The if clause introduces a condition. Just now we have seen the condition is if it rains. The main clause is the result of that condition. The result would be the trip will be cancelled. And if there is no rain, the trip will go as planned. The main clause only happens when the events in the if clause happen. So if this happens, it triggers the result and that will happen. And if this doesn't happen and there is no trigger and that wouldn't happen. So this is simply just like a cause and effect theory. So this is all about the conditional clauses. Let's look at the patterns of the if clauses and some more examples regarding the if clause so that we can understand the concept much better. There are four patterns in if clause usage. Those are the most popular patterns. And beside these four patterns, there is a mixed pattern also. And I don't think that is very much important for us. Let's first focus on the most popularly used four patterns. Those are called zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and the last one is the third conditional. So there are four patterns: the zero, the first, the second, and third. And if we can master these four patterns, we almost have been mastered the if conditional clauses. So this we have to keep in our mind. Often students are much confused about if conditional clauses usage and they make all sorts of mistakes. And the most popular mistake is using will in both the clauses. That means in the main clause as well as in the if clause they use will. The best example could be, if it will rain, I will come. So it appears to be good, it seems to be good, and it is well communicated also. The other person can understand the concept also, but technically, that is grammatically, the sentence is wrong, because two future simple tenses cannot be used in one if clause sentence. So to understand it better, first we need to master the four patterns, the most popular four patterns. Then we can discuss about the errors that occur in using the if conditional clauses. So let's move on to the next slide. As we have learned just now, there are four patterns in if conditional clauses usage. The first one is the zero conditional. And the pattern, the structure of zero conditional, we need to remember, we need to focus it on. As I said just now, we have to master the structures of the four conditional patterns so that no errors will be made in future. The first thing, we will begin with zero conditional. The structure is if condition result. Okay, this is a concept, and the structure is if plus simple present. And in the next clause you will find simple present. That means in both the clauses we find the same tense, that is simple present. Or we can also make a shortcut, simple present. Simple present is the shortcut for zero conditionals. Let's see some more examples to understand the zero conditionals. Before going into the examples, let's understand where the zero conditionals are used, in which situations, in what situations. So the zero conditionals are used while expressing general truths, habits, real world examples, and scientific facts. They can also be called simple present. While learning simple present tense, you might have learned the same things, that is, simple present tense is used to express universal truths, habits, the things that cannot be changed, all those things. So the same things can be applied here. So here once again I would like to repeat, zero conditional sentences or conditional clauses can be used in these four circumstances, four situations. The first one, expressing general truths. The second one, habits. The third one, real world examples. And the fourth one, scientific facts. Let's see some examples to understand this concept better. If it rains, the ground gets wet. If it rains, the ground gets wet. Here we can see four examples, and in all the four examples we can see a comma. That comma divides the two clauses. One is a main clause, the other is a if clause. The condition is if it rains, the ground gets wet. The result will be the ground getting wet. And here we can see the simple present in the first clause and the simple present in the second clause. Just now we learned the shortcut to understand the zero conditional is simple present, simple present. So here we can see if it rains, rains is in the simple present tense, and the ground gets wet. Gets is the verb here. Again it is in the simple present tense. Now let's move on to the second example. If you boil the water, it evaporates. It's a scientific truth. It cannot be changed. If you boil the water is the if conditional clause or the subordinate clause. It evaporates is the main clause. So the result would be evaporation. The third one, if you pour oil on water, it floats. It is also a universal truth, scientific fact. So here also we can see simple present and simple present pattern. Pour oil, pour is the verb and it is in the V1 form, that is the simple present form, and floats is also in a V1 form, that is simple present tense. So in the three sentences we can see simple present, simple present. Now let's examine the fourth one. If I cry, I have a headache. It indicates a habit. Though this is not a universal truth, it indicates a habit. Whenever I cry, I have a headache. It happens with everyone almost. So if a person expresses this conditional clause, we can understand that if he cries, he has a headache. So here also we can find simple present pattern. If I cry, cry is the verb here and it is in the V1 form, that is simple present, and have is another verb that is also in a simple present format. So this is all about the zero conditional. So here just now we have seen 4 examples, and let's recap once again. Zero conditionals are used in 4 instances, 4 situations. One is expressing general truths, habits, real world examples, and scientific facts. Now let's move on to the next conditional, and that is first conditional. Here we can see a pattern, another shortcut. We have already discussed that we need to learn the 4 patterns and we need to remember those 4 patterns. The first one is the simple present pattern, that is called zero conditional. The second one is called the first conditional, that the pattern is if plus present simple and simple future. That means we can create a shortcut simply. The shortcut is simple present, simple future. In the zero conditional, we learned the shortcut simple present, simple present. Here in the first conditional, the shortcut is simple present, simple future. By looking at this pattern, by understanding this shortcut, we can understand that one clause has the simple present tense and the other clause has the simple future. And if we observe carefully this pattern, the simple present is attached to the if clause. That means if is always attached to the simple present and the result would be in simple future. Let's discuss this with examples. So where do we use the first conditional? This first conditional is used in predictions. That means you are predicting the future. The second one is future plans. You are stating your future plans. You are expressing your future plans. In that condition also we use the first conditional. And the third instance we are using in warnings and threats. So let's see all these concepts, all these situations with examples so that we can understand this much better. Let's begin with the first one. Here we can see 4 examples. Let's begin with the first one. If she doesn't leave now, she will miss the bus. Simply it's a prediction. You are predicting the future. So what is the prediction here? If she doesn't leave now, she will miss the bus. As I said earlier, all the 4 sentences that we can find the comma which separates the 2 clauses. Every sentence has 2 clauses and those 2 clauses are separated by the comma. In this sentence, if she doesn't leave now, doesn't leave, in the first clause, if is attached to doesn't leave. Doesn't leave is in simple present tense. That we need to recognize, we need to identify the tense. So it is in simple present tense. And the result, the consequence, if she doesn't start just now, if she gets delayed, if she is lazy and doesn't make a move just now, the consequence, the result will be she will miss the bus. She will miss. Will miss is a simple future tense. So if you can understand, you can find the pattern simple present, simple future. Now let's see the second one. If it rains, I won't go to the park. Again, we can see 2 clauses here. Won't go is the shortcut or the abbreviation or the contraction of will not go. We might have learned the contractions earlier in the classes. So won't go is nothing but will not go. So what is happening here? The condition is if it rains, it is in simple present tense. The conditional clause if is attached to the simple present tense, that is rains. And what would be the consequence? What would be the result? I will not go to the park. It naturally happens all the time. Whenever there is a rain, we do not go out. We would tend to stay indoors because all the roads are muddy and with water and with dirt. So we try to stay indoors. So the same concept is expressed through if conditional clause. If it rains, I won't go to the park. This is your future plan. This sentence expresses your future plans. So if it rains, I won't go to the park. This is my future plan. Let's see one more example in this section, that is expressing future plans. If I see her, I'll tell her. If I see her, I will tell her. That means if I see her, simple present, I will tell her, that is simple future. If I come across her, if I meet her, definitely I am going to tell her about the incident. So this is called future plans. Now the last example, if you don't come to my birthday party, I will never speak to you again. I'll, we can see I'll, it can be assumed it is I will. Okay, don't get confused regarding this. Now, let's discuss this example. If you don't come to my birthday party, I will never speak to you again. This comes under threats and warnings. We can sense a threat in this sentence. If you don't come to my birthday party, I will never speak to you again. So this is the best example for a threat or a warning. So this is all about the first conditional. Let's move on to the next one, that is second conditional, and try to understand that concept also. So this is the second conditional, and here the pattern, the structure, the shortcut or whatever we call it, that we need to remember is past simple would plus V1. Earlier we learnt zero conditional, simple present, first conditional, simple present, simple future, second conditional, past simple, would plus V1. What is V1? V1 is nothing but the three forms of verbs. If you can remember the three forms of verbs, the first one is called V1, that is verb form 1, or we can also call it simply the simple present tense or the base form of a verb. So what is this second conditional? In which circumstances, in which conditions do we use these kind of sentences? Second conditionals are used in hypothetical or unlikely situations. Hypothetical or unlikely situations that are not going to happen. In those kind of situations, we use second conditional. Let's understand it better with examples. Second conditionals usually they are used in two conditions, that means two situations. The first one, to talk about things in the future that are probably not going to be true. This is somewhat complicated maybe to understand. So let's focus it on and listen to it very carefully. In two circumstances we use the second conditional. This is the statement. And what are the two situations? The first one, in future, about the things in the future that are probably not going to be true, that are not going to be happened. And the second situation is to talk about something in the present which is impossible because it's not true. Seems something vague, something ambiguous, something that cannot be understood easily. That's why we shall take some examples and we will analyze the concept. Let's take the first one, first situation. So what was the first situation that we have seen just now? The first situation is to talk about things in the future that are probably not going to be true. Let's take two examples here. I will begin with the first one. If I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. And the analysis, the clarification is I probably won't win the lottery. That indicates this is not going to happen. 0.1 in 100% it is not going to happen. So if we can examine the sentence, we can find two clauses. In the first clause, if I won the lottery, WON is in simple past tense. That means win, won, that is the V2, that indicates the simple past tense. And the second clause, the main clause, I would buy. Just remember the structure. The structure is simple past and would plus V1. In the second clause, we can see would plus buy. Buy is the V1 as we all know about it. The three forms of buy are buy, bought, bought. So we can understand, we can recognize that this is the V1 of buy. So the sentence is if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. As there is no chance of winning the lottery, that's why there is least probability to buy a big house. So this is a concept. It is not going to happen. The next example is she would travel all over the world if she were rich. Here the student shouldn't be get puzzled by looking at the sentence because the if clause is in the second part of the sentence. Don't worry about that because either the if clause in the first part of the sentence or in the second part of the sentence, that doesn't make any difference. So don't worry too much about the place of the if clause. Just look at the pattern it indicates. So here if she were rich, just remember the pattern. If plus simple past, that means were is the word that indicates the simple past, and the conditional clause or the main clause here is would travel. Travel is V1, that is the three forms of the verb travel are travel, traveled, traveled. So here we can sense that it is the V1 of travel. So this is the structure is absolutely suitable for the second conditional. That indicates it is not going to happen. That means it is unlikely going to happen. So if she were rich, she would travel all over the world, and she is not rich. In reality, she has no money. That's why there is the least possibility that she would travel all over the world. So this is the instance that we discussed about the first instance. Again, we are going to look at the second situation where the second conditional is used. To talk about something in the present which is impossible because it's not true. If it rained, you would get wet. Again, look at the pattern. If it rained, rained is the simple past, and you would get wet. That means would plus V1. So if it rained, you would get wet, and it is impossible to happen because there is no rain right now. So there is no rain right now, that's why you won't get wet, is the concept that we need to understand. Second example, if I had his number, I would call him. I had his number. Had is in simple past tense. Would call is the pattern that we are looking for. Would plus V1. If I had his number, I would call him. As I don't have his number, that's why I can't call him. So it is less likely going to happen. I don't have his number now, so it's impossible for me to call him. So this is the concept that we are trying to understand. So here till now we have completed zero conditional. first conditional and second conditional. The patterns are simple present, simple present, simple present, simple future, simple past, would plus V1. Now let's look at the last and fourth conditional, that is third conditional. Third conditional is used in past unreal situations that are already happened. Past indicates the things that are already happened, and unreal because they are imaginary and they are not real. If we can understand the examples, we can comprehend much better. And first look at the pattern. If plus past perfect tense and would plus have plus V3. So this appears somewhat complicated, and it appears only, but in reality, really, it is not that complicated. And if you can create 10 or 20 examples of your own, you can master it very easily without much difficulty. So it appears to be difficult, okay, that's true, but it is not that difficult. Let's move on to the examples. So this is the pattern. Just like I would like to remind you once again, the pattern is if plus past perfect, and the consequence, the result will have would plus have plus V3. V3 is the third form of a verb, that is V1, V2, V3. For instance, buy, bought, bought is the V3. Go, went, gone, gone is the V3. Speak, spoke, spoken, spoken is the V3. So we need to remember the V3 quickly so that we can use it in the structures in daily conversations. Let's jump into the examples. So here we can find 4 examples. Let's see one by one. If you had talked, I would have listened. So this is referring to the past things. If you had talked, the thing is already happened, the thing is already over. If you had talked, I would have listened. You had not talked, that's why I didn't listen. So the situation is, నువ్వు నాతో మాట్లాడి ఉంటే నేను విని ఉండేవాడిని. నువ్వు నాతో మాట్లాడలేదు కాబట్టి నేను వినడం అనేది జరగలేదు. ఇట్ వాజ్ క్వైట్ ఇంపాసిబుల్. సో దట్స్ ద థింగ్ దట్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యాడ్ టాక్డ్, I would have listened. You hadn't talked, that's why I couldn't listen. Now the second sentence, if she had come, she would have seen. If she had arrived, she could have seen, she would have seen, she has seen herself. But she didn't come, that's why she couldn't see. ఆమె రాలేదు కాబట్టి ఆమె చూడటం జరగలేదు. ఆమె గనక ఒకవేళ వచ్చి ఉంటే ఆమె చూసి ఉండేది. So this is the thing that is to be remembered. And the third sentence, if you watched it, you would have liked. So in the daily conversations, we discuss about movies and other all sorts of things. For instance, two friends are discussing about a movie. Have you seen Bahubali 2? No, I haven't seen that movie. If you watched it, you would have liked it. So this is the concept. The sentence is, if you had seen the movie, you would have liked it. You haven't seen the movie, that's why you didn't have the chance to like the movie. If you watched it, you would have liked it. So it is happened in the past tense and it is unreal. If he had studied, he would have passed it. He didn't study well, that's why he couldn't pass. This is the consequence. If he had studied, అతడు ఒకవేళ మంచిగా బాగా చదివి ఉంటే, he would have passed it. పరీక్షలో పాస్ అయి ఉండేవాడు. అన్రియల్ పాస్ట్. అతడు పరీక్షలో బాగా చదవలేదు, పరీక్షకు ముందు బాగా చదవలేదు కాబట్టి పరీక్ష పాస్ కాలేకపోయాడు అనేది దీని యొక్క కాన్సెప్ట్. సో this appears to be somewhat complicated, but when you practice it much and try to create your own sentences and use them in daily conversations or in any report writings or any other writing activities, you will be able to remember this for a long time. And this is the most important thing in academic point of view as well as in competitive point of view also. In almost all the competitive examinations, we find a question on if conditional clause, and students often get confused and they make mistakes. So don't be confused. Remember the four patterns and try to practice as much as possible and try to use in your own sentences as much as possible. And this is only the shortcut to master the if conditional clauses.